All right, well, let's get started. So everyone's here. We're going to be talking about the Cisco VoIP telephone system Jabber desktop application, which is also called a soft phone, and I'm going to attempt to make and receive calls using my desktop Jabber app. What we have discovered, it is maybe a little bit more stable. Now my internet connection is unstable right now because I'm competing with my husband, who has to be on a call at 11 as well. And that's one reason why I call in with using my phone for voice. For Zoom, so I don't have to use as much internet service. But we've also found that if you VPN in, you might get better stability with your Jabber soft phone. And I'll show you what I mean by that once we start using it. So I'm going to launch my Cisco Jabber. And for those of you who've never used it, the first time you log in, you're going to have to log in with your CWID at fhda.edu, put in your password. I suggest that people click on the automatic sign-in, so that way the next time you launch Jabber, you won't have to put in your ID or password. Okay? Put that over there. So I launched my Jabber, and it automatically came up for me because it automatically signs me in. Okay? So it's the last service I used when I was using my desktop soft phone yesterday was voicemail, and so that defaulted to that. When things are connected properly, you will see all your voicemails listed here, and you can actually listen to them here by selecting it and clicking on the arrow on the right, and it will play those messages.
I'm looking to connect with you about the school district.
And that was coming through my computer speakers. If for some reason you do not see your voicemails listed here, you'll probably see a little stop sign or a goldish, orangish, yellow triangle here saying that some services aren't connected, and I'll get into that in a second. But if you see this call voicemail here, you can actually click on that.
Enter your PIN, followed by pound.
It will call your voicemails if you're calling from a regular phone and dialing in to either, and here are these alternative ways to get into your voicemail. If you don't already know about them, I'll put them here in the chat. You can use any of these numbers. It doesn't matter whether you're a DANS or a Foothill person or a district person. We have one telephone system with our new voice telephone system, so they aren't separate on each campus like the old Fujitsu. So either one of these numbers will get you into remotely into your voicemail. If you call one of these numbers, it's actually going to ask you for your ID, enter your ID. And what that means is it's actually asking you for your 4-digit extension number. Then your PIN is your PIN. So those are the two remote telephone numbers you can use from any phone to get into your voicemail remotely. And then through the Jabber soft phone, I click on call voicemail. Like I said, it's calling directly into the voicemail system. And it asks me for, it's asking me for my PIN. So you click on these dots here, and then I would enter my PIN, and it would get me right into my voicemail. Okay? That's really quickly how to get to voicemail. So let's just pop up here on the left again, and I'm going to click on recent. These are the recent phone calls that I've actually made or received, and these two 1,000 ones are when this Jabber actually was calling the voicemail system. Then, let's see, we'll go over here to, so this documentation that I'm looking at here on my left side of my screen to make and receive calls, this is posted out on our ETS web pages as well. And if you go to that star for work at home, there's some information about Jabber, and if you click on Jabber, it'll take you to all the documentation that we have on our web pages. So I suggest that if you have any, before you send in a question in through our help ticket, and if you aren't familiar with it, it's etshelp.fhda.edu, and you log in using your My Portal ID and password. Okay, so all this documentation out there, so I suggest you try looking through that first before you submit a ticket. So for chat, there's a couple of extra cool tools that come with the software this software desktop Jabber app, and one of them is chat or instant messaging. So if there's any other folks that are using the software Jabber, if they are logged in and using Jabber, there's another thing called Presence, and it'll tell you whether or not they're online or available. And if you look up here in the upper left, you'll see this green dot. I've set myself available. So if somebody else is on Jabber, they'll see that I'm available and they can chat with me. So right now I've got a couple people that I've tried to chat with previously, so this is kind of like my chat history, and I could clear that if I wanted to. But if I wanted to see if there was someone else that's made available using this Presence type feature in Jabber, I can go to my contacts, so that takes me up to contacts. And your default contacts is listed right here under contacts. You can also create groups. I've created a call center group. I've created an ETS group as well. So you can put people in different groups if you'd like in your contacts instead of having a really long list of contacts. And you'll see here that Josie and Kelly are on our call center here. They're using Jabber, and they've made themselves available for chat. So I actually could call Kelly as well from here from my contacts. And this is actually calling her desk phone, but I'm going to hang up because I really don't want to bother her right now. But I'm actually going to click this little icon here for chat, and I'm going to say, Kelly, I'm doing another training and showing them about IM/chat in Jabber desktop. Okay. So she may or may not come back, and she might be helping somebody right now on the phone, because we were able to get ACD, our automated call distribution, working. Oh, there we go. Hello all. There we go. Okay. So that's how it works. So I'll just say bye for now, and then I'm just going to disconnect from her by clicking on that red dot in the window. Oh, she said bye back. Okay, and that's what happens when she sent me a chat back. Even though I closed my window, it shows up. Okay. Now, if I wanted to add a new contact, I have to go up here into this search box at the top. So let me pick somebody on my team. So it's going to search for that person, and I'm going to click the plus sign, and it's going to allow me to add that person. And I can add them to a group, or I can actually, right here, I'm going to create a new group, and I'm going to call the endpoint group. Actually, I'm going to put ETS. Endpoint group. And click OK. So I'm going to add Victor to my endpoint group. So I've just created a new group, and I've added Victor to that group. Okay? So that's groups. Now, if I want to call somebody, I should be able to just put the number in here and make a call. Now, if you want to call long distance or have the area code in there, you need to put 91. Oops. All right. And I should be able to just hit that green button, and it will make that call. And if my cell phone is actually, yep. And you just heard my cell phone, and I'm answering my cell phone. So you can mute yourself. You could do a video call if someone else is using Jabber. You can adjust the volume. If you're calling into a Zoom meeting, you had to put in the meeting number and your participant ID. You could do that here. You can transfer a call. You can put it on hold, and then you can hang up. Okay. So now I'm actually going to call my desk phone, and I'm going to answer it on my computer. I'm going to take my work cell phone. I'm going to call my desk phone. Okay, so that's my computer audio. So from a wireless caller, I'm going to answer the call. And now I'm on the call. And now I can hang up. And that's it. That's making a call. Oh, things are working a lot better today because I logged into the VPN. And I suggest if you're having trouble with consistency, with connecting for instant messaging, chat, phone service, and voicemail service, which I'll show you in a minute how to look for that, I would suggest using the district of VPN. So down here in the lower left, before I could even make calls, I have to tell Jabber to use my computer for calls. So let's make sure under here you select use my computer for calls. Now once you're back to the office, you can use Jabber. You can still use Jabber, and you could have it running for chat or other things, but you're going to want to use your desk phone for calls. And when that happens, which is probably when that happens, you could still use Jabber to make a call, but actually what you're doing when you initiate a call here through Jabber, it's actually going to have your desk phone make the call, and you'll be talking to the person using your physical desk phone, okay? So that's what this means, and you can see the icon changed from my computer to my desk icon that looks like my desk phone. But I'm going to go back to use my computer for calls. Now from here, you can actually forward calls to another number, and you can select a new number. But right now, if you left work and you set your phone, your desk phone, to forward calls, you want to now select it to do not forward calls. Otherwise, you're not going to receive any calls on your soft phone. Okay? You could forward your phone directly to voicemail, and therefore your phone won't ring. But you could also set your Jabber phone here to do not disturb, and no calls will come through. It will directly go to voicemail, and this is that presence feature. Let's go back down here to the lower left. And what we're going to go to open call preferences. Now, if you want to make sure that all of your services, instant messaging, which is your chat, your phone services, and your voicemail are working properly, you can go into this account preferences and click on accounts. And if you do not see these check marks here, you will know that's what the problem is, that for some reason it's not consistently connecting. So when I did the training yesterday at 5 o'clock, this was going in and out of service constantly because I don't think I had a steady internet connection, and 2, I was not connected to the VPN. Now that I'm connected to the VPN, you're not seeing those error messages, which I was kind of happy that people could see them last night, because then they could see that triangle down here. They could see on here it's a stop sign with an X in it when those services are not running. But you can see down here the check mark means it's connected. So if they weren't connected, you would see the stop sign. It would tell you that it means it's not connected. All right? Don't change anything under user settings or server settings. But that username you can see is your CWID, and your password is going to be your MyPortal password. Let's go back to general. There's some things in here. You can have Cisco Jabber start when your computer starts if you want. Remember your open conversations, which would be for chat. Global shortcuts, I never even use that. You can start calls with your Cisco Jabber, meaning FaceTime, Zoom. I've never tried any of those other features, so I'd say if you'd like to try them, experiment. Under chat, it just says instant messaging styles. There's some different things here. Status, again, is use accessible presence icons if you need some accessibility support. Let others know when I'm in a meeting, according to my calendar, and it's going to be your Outlook calendar. Is it according to your Outlook calendar? That's a good question. I think if it's picking up the calendar on your computer, it's going to pick up whatever default calendar you have set. So if you're using, yeah, that's a good question. I'll have to check into that. I'm going to leave myself a note. Oops. for status, let others, make myself a note here. And then checkbox, recording my calendar, which calendar? So I'll get that answer, and yeah, which calendar. I'll make sure I add that to the documentation. Privacy, automatically accept requests from my company for people outside. They prompt me for each request, block specific people, mostly for chat locations. I wouldn't enable locations at this point. There's no need for that. And here's a bunch of notifications, and you can set this to whatever you'd like for chat messages and all incoming calls and so forth. When unchecked, calls can still be answered on a desk phone or headset. And for calls, here's where you can also do call forwarding as well, and you can add another phone number if you want to add another call. And this is also another way to do not forward calls. So again, if you forwarded your phone to another number, once you get your Jabber provisions, you're going to want to unforward your phone, and that's where you can select do not forward calls within here. Here's some audio visual regarding your built-in microphone, built-in output for your microphone on your computer, ring alerts on all devices. So built-in output, display audio, device volume, ringer alerts, volume, and so forth. Now here's that self-care portal I was talking about. And because I am connected to the VPN right now, when I select Open Self-Care Portal, it will open that for me. So it opened up a browser. Where do I find the link to download Jabber? Is that the question? So once you get a notice that you are provisioned, the ETS staff person will tell you how to download Jabber app, okay, desktop application. Okay, old application, I'm sorry. So it brings you to the login for your self-care portal, and actually it's your CWID and your MyPortal password. I never saved my password for security reasons. So here's your self-care portal, and I'll go through this. Okay. So default, let's look at my phone. And you'll notice I've got 4 phones assigned to me. My team assigned the conference phone in my office to me. Here's my desk phone. This is my desktop Jabber phone. And I also have a mobile Jabber app phone. So these are all mine. You can click on settings and you can edit those. There's really not much you can do, but I wouldn't touch those if I were you. There's some settings for my phone, so it takes me right to my desk phone settings where I can set up speed dials for my desk phone and other things, ring settings. This is all for your desk phone. So all these phone settings are referring to your desk phone, not your Jabber phone. You can also set up call forwarding or turn off call forwarding within the self-care portal as well. Okay. You'll also see another phone number that's associated with my Jabber. It starts with a 15, and that's because it's for the automated call distribution for the ETS call center. I can be an agent on there and log in and accept any incoming calls to our call center and help out the call center if I have to. If for some reason both of them are sick or something and it's an emergency and we need somebody to be on there, I can jump on if I need to. Let's jump back to my phone. I'm going to click on my Jabber, say edit, and there really isn't much of anything there, but you can see that a second phone number assigned to me. Now, when we first installed the VoIP system, you could only have one number associated to your desktop Jabber, but with subsequent software upgrades, that's what's great about a phone system that's pretty much all software, it now allows multiple phone numbers that you can use within your desktop Jabber app. Let me jump back to that for a second. And you'll see if I click this down arrow next to it says number 1, it has my desk extension. You'll notice I can switch over to that and start making calls and receiving. Well, I can't actually make calls. We shouldn't from an ACD, but you can, would be receiving calls. As long as I logged into this thing called Finesse and make myself ready for the ACD system, I could receive calls. But I'm going to jump back to my default. So if for some reason your manager says that, okay, I need you to be also responsible for taking calls for the mainline number for our department, and that mainline number is not also your personally assigned phone number, we need to have your manager give permission through a ticket, whatever, to set you up to add that mainline number to your desktop Jabber so that you can receive calls on that mainline. Okay. So I got a couple more questions. I can't see you typing anything on the chat. Are you typing in? Oh, I may have typed something individually. You're right. I did. Sorry about that. So I will make sure that I do. That happens, everyone. Okay. So you get notice that you are provisioned. ETS staff will tell you how to download the Jabber desktop app. How's that? Okay. Let's see. Right, but we really don't want you to download the Jabber desktop app before your provision, because we found some people, maybe it's their operating system or whatever, that sometimes you run into a problem where it doesn't work if you install the desktop Jabber app before you're provisioned on the back end. And I think it might have to do with some older operating systems. So we ask that you don't do that until you get notification that you've been provisioned. But thank you, Scott, for that. Okay, let's go back to Self-Care Portal. There really isn't much in, okay, it talks about adding single number reach. So let me go into single number reach for a second. Now this is one way, if you have mobile Jabber app, you can get to single number reach and set it up here, or you can go through here, the plus sign, and you can set up single number reach. And I'll explain that. And this is only for the mobile Jabber app, if you have mobile Jabber app set up, but I like to go over it anyway since we go through the Self-Care Portal. And I'll talk about enable to move to mobile as well. So if I click on enable, it's not going to let me enable single number reach until I put a phone number in here. Okay. I can put in a description if I want. That's my work cell phone. Okay. Then I can enable single number reach. What this means, what this graphic is showing you is that, thanks, Scott, is that when a phone comes in and your desk phone rings, it's going to simultaneously ring on whatever this phone number is that you put up here. They're going to both ring. Some people, it used to be called follow me, but used to, you know, if you didn't answer on the desk phone, then it would ring to the other phone. But for single number reach, it actually rings simultaneously in your desk phone and that alternate phone. Now, the good thing about this compared to forward, if you forward your number, you forward it to another phone, it's going to hand off that call, that other phone. Meaning, if you don't answer on that other phone, the voicemail greeting that the caller is going to hear is the voicemail greeting for that phone you forwarded it to, and they're going to leave a voicemail message on that other phone. So if you forwarded it to your personally owned cell phone, they're going to hear your personally owned cell phone voicemail greeting, and they're going to leave voicemail on that personally owned cell phone voicemail box. But with single number reach is if you don't answer that alternative phone, if I don't answer my work cell phone, it's actually what the caller will hear is a voicemail greeting for my work phone number, and it's going to leave the voicemail on my work phone voicemail. So it's going to leave voicemail at my 6161. It's not going to leave voicemail on here. That's the difference between single number reach and forwarding your phone. And I'm going to turn this off because I'm using different means of answering my phone. I've got my mobile jabber and I've got my desktop app. I don't want to use single number reach. The other thing you can do by having a phone number up here, one thing about single number reach, you're going to want to look at advanced timing and play around with the numbers here, especially this wait number of seconds up here. It depends on your cellular provider, and I found out with my Verizon, I had to set it to at least 4 seconds because it would ring on my cell phone, and what would happen is it rang once. It didn't even give me time to get it out of my purse and answer the phone before it sent the person to voicemail. So I had to extend the number of seconds before ringing the phone when my business line is dialed. And then there was the other thing on here was using the time delay of 1.5 seconds and stop ringing the phone after 19. I had to play with all of these numbers there in that advanced timing in order for it give me time to get my phone out of my purse and actually answer it. So the other thing here is enable move to mobile. Now, this is really a cool thing. Let's say you're in your office and you're on a call on your phone and it's 5 o'clock and I got to leave to go pick up my child at daycare. And if I don't get any minute after 6 o'clock, they're going to start charging me $100 a minute that I'm late picking up my child, but I don't want to get off this call. Can't hang up. What you can do is if you have this enable move to mobile, there will be move to mobile on your telephone desk screen, and the button below that, you would press that button, and there's a slight delay while it moves the call from your desk phone over to your cell phone, and you're going to see that on your cell phone, and you're going to press a button. I can't remember exactly what all the instructions are for that because it's been 4 years since I've used it, but it'll show up on your cell phone, and you can select it. So you want to have that mobile jabber enabled on your phone, and it will pick it up, and you'll be able to pick up that conversation on your cell phone, and you can walk out of your office and go pick up your child at daycare. But that's what's cool about that tool. So you're going to want to sign up for mobile jabber if you want to do things like that. Let's see. Scott looked at, one wish per ticket. However, when it comes to if you need mobile jabber and your desktop jabber as well, that's one ticket because the network and telecommunications employee, while they're in there setting up your mobile jabber, it's really easy to set up the desktop jabber at the same time. So you do not have to have separate tickets for your mobile jabber request and your desktop jabber. You can combine them into one ticket. Correct. You cannot make and receive calls until you've been provisioned on our back-end voice system. Until you're provisioned for a desktop jabber app, this phone that's showing up in Self-Care Portal, you cannot make or receive calls using the desktop jabber app. Yeah, so you don't need to know any of the Self-Care Portal stuff either. You don't need to know any of that. You just need to know what I went over. Wait, I just need to sign out of this and quit my, just quit it. You just need to know what I showed you on how to make a call here. And you can either select the person you want. So Josie is away now. She must be taking a health break. And Kelly is available. You can either dial the person directly here, through here in your contacts, or put the number here. And I should be able to dial that number directly there to make a call. And that's it. And take it. And there's my cell phone ringing. I'm going to hang up. And then to receive a call, so the basics are just making a call. So you don't have to have someone in your contacts to make a call. You don't need any all that mobile stuff either, no. I'm going to call my desk number again. You don't have to go into your self-care portal at all, but if you can't, if you have your desk phone forwarded and you can't, for some reason, unforward it, get it to say do not forward calls here, you might have to go into your self-care portal for that. I'm going to call my desk phone again, and you'll see it pop up here in the lower right of my screen, and I'm going to answer it. If I had said decline, it would have pushed the caller to my voicemail box. Let's see. Since counseling has been configured for mobile Jabber by batches, I believe, do we have to send a different ticket to e-test for the desktop? Yes. You will have to send in a different, if it was only set up for mobile Jabber through that bulk request from the manager, then you'll have to put in a separate ticket for your desktop Jabber provisioning. You do not need to have your desktop Jabber on your computer too. If you have the mobile Jabber set up, that's fine. You can make and receive calls there. Just know that it's using your minutes on your cell phone. But when you call out to someone, they're not going to see your personal cell phone number, which is great. When they call you and you answer using that, again, if they call in that number, it's going to go to your work voicemail. But you don't need the desktop Jabber on your computer too. You're perfectly capable of fully functional, let's say, on your mobile Jabber to make and receive calls without the desktop. So what we did, I asked in the last all managers and supervisors meeting that was on campus and over at De Anza, I asked the deans and the managers to submit one work request with a list of all their employees' names with their CWID and their desk phone number that was assigned to them. And if it was mobile Jabber, we needed to know their operating system for their smartphone and I think their cell phone number too in order to have that set up. But we asked them to make it easier for our staff to do these bulk setups to have the managers submit them in bulk. But some managers didn't get the message or they just decided not to do it, and so a lot of people have just been submitting work requests on their own. Yeah, Antoinette set in a bulk list request, and I think most all of her staff have been provisioned that were in that list, and I'm not sure if she got information. I know she told them that they were provisioned, but I haven't heard that all of them were successful in using the Jabber, and can't remember if she set them up for mobile or desktop. Yeah, so if you've got the information back from ETS that you've been provisioned, that the work was already done, especially for the mobile, you can go to the App Store on your mobile phone and download and install that app. And there are instructions on how to use that mobile Jabber app out on the ETS web pages as well. Again, you need to wait until you hear back from either your manager or ETS you've been provisioned before it will work. And please, the first time through logging in to either the desktop Jabber app or the mobile Jabber app, you have to put your CWID at fhda.edu and your MyPortal password. And then after that, I would suggest, select checking the box for the auto login when next time you launch the Jabber app, and then you won't have to put your password in either. I'm going to be posting, since this one went so well, I will definitely be posting this particular session. Others haven't gone so well, so I probably won't post those because there were so many, or I might just post it and say, this is what happens when you have trouble with your internet connection. You'll see the services going in and out. So I might post both of them. If you're using your mobile Jabber app, those charges, those minutes, you're getting your minutes charged against when you use your mobile Jabber app, yes. But not on your computer. You'll be using your, unless you're tethering your cell phone for internet service, you won't be using your data plan on your cell phone, but on your computer, you'll be using your internet service provider from home. Again, you'll be using your cell phone minutes when you use your mobile Jabber app. I mean, from sending in, it's probably better to have your manager submit a whole list if you need the desktop Jabber. Because then what will happen is that whole list will get done at the same time, and it will get passed back to the manager. Again, yeah, this is recorded, and I will post this one since it went so well. Yeah, I think for you, if you don't want to incur cell phone minutes, then you can use the desktop Jabber. But again, you're going to get a better experience if you use the VPN. Okay, is there anything that maybe I missed? But you'll see right here, when you see this, you know, I have 99 plus voice messages. Well, that's because I don't delete them. But you still will get your voicemails as attachments in your email. So that doesn't go away with any of this. So you'll also get that. Yeah, if you go down here and you select open call preferences and you go under accounts and you're not getting the green check marks there, you probably want to start using the district VPN and see if that makes it better. Otherwise, you know, it could be that your internet connection is not stable. It will not sync to your desk phone. So this, I mean, it might connect to it, but that's useless to you because you can't make and receive calls because your desk phone isn't with you. You're using your computer for calls when you're using your desk Jabber on your computer when you're home away from your desk phone. You're allowed to install the desktop Jabber application onto a personally owned computer. Yes, you are allowed to do that. So when you say it doesn't sync to your office phone, your voicemail, I'm not really, I hope I answered that question. But if it's not, again, if it's not syncing to your voicemail, then you're going to go under accounts. And if this is a red stop sign, it means it's not connecting. And again, I suggest connecting to the VPN first before using Jabber. And making international phone calls on the desktop Jabber. If you were able to make international phone calls from your desk phone, you should be able to still make them through your desktop Jabber because it's using our phone system. So there's no wireless charges for your desktop Jabber because you're using your internet service provider at home. It has nothing to do with your cell phone. When you're using the mobile Jabber app, it is using your wireless minutes. That's the difference. Let's see, Jabber will work on your personal. Yes, as long as you're not using your cell phone as a tether for internet service for your computer, you will not be using the minutes on your cell phone. As long as you're using your home internet service, there's no minutes or charges to your cell phone. When I call a number from Jabber, it shows 650 number, not my extension. Yeah, it's gonna, sometimes it's on and off. It'll show a 650-949-1205. That is our trunk number for the district. Sometimes it will show your desk extension, sometimes it will show the trunk number. Once we're done provisioning everybody, we're going to go back to our vendor, AMS.net, who supports our phone system. and we're going to ask them to help us figure out what's going on there. But right now, it's not a showstopper. What you're going to want to do is make sure if you leave a voicemail for somebody, make sure you leave your phone extension, your desk phone number in the voicemail message. You don't need prior approval from your dean to ask for mobile jabber or the desktop jabber. You don't need a prior approval for that. We do prefer it by groups. It makes it faster for everybody that you submit a ticket by group and groups versus individual tickets. Yes, we do still need for desktop jabber, we need your CWID and your desk phone number assigned to you. We don't necessarily need your name, but we definitely need your CWID and your desk phone number assigned to you. What we have found is that there's been so much with all the layoffs that happened last June 30th and all the movement that happened as well. Actually, it weren't layoffs, but most of it is that people got moved over to different positions. The phone numbers didn't get reassigned to individuals, and that takes extra time for our staff to reassign a number to a person. If the number isn't associated with your CWID account in our VoIP system, we can't provision the jabber for you. So there's an extra step that's involved. Individuals can ask for the jabber, but we ask that you provide for the desktop jabber, your CWID, and your desk phone number assigned to you. For mobile jabber, we also need your CWID and your desk phone assigned to you, but we also need your cell phone number and the operating system of your cell phone, whether it's iOS or Android. The mobile jabber doesn't work on Microsoft phones if you have a Microsoft cell phone. What is tethered? Well, tether means that I pay $10 a month extra because of the type of work that I do on my cell phone. I pay an extra $10 a month for my work cell phone. Tether means a personal hotspot. So I have under my settings on my iPhone that I have personal hotspot capability. And if I turn that on and I have a Wi-Fi password set for it, is that I can turn my cell phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot that I can connect my computer to, use the data plan on my cell phone to connect to the internet. You can quickly use up your data plan minutes on your cell phone by doing that, but it's an extra $10 a month to be able to use a personal hotspot, use your phone as a personal hotspot. It's something that somebody like me and the work that I do, and what I meant by tether is turning on my cell phone as a hotspot, and then I can go up into wireless. So let me show you what it would look like. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to turn on a personal hotspot. Oops, I already did. Sorry. And it says Sharon's Wi-Fi network. So I'm not going to do that now because I don't want to disconnect everything on my computer. I could connect to my cell phone. It's using as a Wi-Fi hotspot and get to the internet. I'm going to turn it off right now, and that should disappear. It will disappear. I saw the number when someone called me today. Good to know that the issue is being looked at. When you were at your desk phone at work, every time you called out, it should have had this trunk number on it and not your personal desk phone. If it did, then this problem's been going on for quite a while, and we didn't know about it, and so it's on our list to talk to our vendor once we've provisioned everybody, but it doesn't cause a problem for anybody. ETS, does ETS need the type of desktop computer, Mac or PC? Well, the only reason we needed to know whether it was a Mac or PC is because we were sending you the link to the correct Jabber Mac or PC. But now that in ETS, and maybe I'll get it right now, get in there now. I'll show you what it's going to look like. But again, don't download the app until you've been told that you've been provisioned for the desktop. the desktop Jabber app. So you're going to see a lot more than a normal person would because I have administrative rights into our request system. But you'll see over on the left here, user downloads. And you won't see all of these. Again, I'm seeing all the ones that are disabled because I'm an administrator. But the ones that say enabled, these here, I think these packages are actually update ones. That can correct me wrong there. But you'll see the ones, the different versions of Jabber. Here's 2 versions for Windows. And then there's, well, actually, oh, that's true. There's 3 different versions, right? Those aren't update packages, but those are 3 different versions for the Apple Jabber desktop. This one right here, the really old one, only if you have 10.9 or older of an Apple operating system, and as it says right here, for Mac OS 10.9 or older, would use this really old version. We're suggesting try to use the latest version of it. Yeah, you have to, if you need to turn your cell phone into Wi-Fi hotspot, you either log into your account, your wireless account to your provider, or call your provider to add that feature. Again, for me on Verizon, it costs an extra $10 a month. Let's see. If I'm working from home and have Wi-Fi, then I don't need to understand. Yeah, so if your internet service provider has given you a wireless router that you access Wi-Fi within your home, it's not a hardwired connection, and you don't need to tether or use the wireless hotspot on your cell phone. You don't need that feature at all. So if you already have Wi-Fi at home, then you're set. You don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to understand anything about tethering. Yeah, your username is your 8-digit campus-wide ID for logging in. Any other questions? Password is the same as your email and My Portal password. So just think of, this is all, they call it, I forgot what it's called. But we're using the same ID and password for a lot of things. Email, My Portal, Jabber, Self-Care Portal. It uses that. So this is why it's so important to never save your password. Unless you want to do that auto login, that's fine because it's encrypted and nobody can see it. But never give up your password to anybody. Thank you, Scott, for helping me today. I really appreciate it.